अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। तेभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। शुक्लां ब्रह्मविचारसारपरमाम् आद्यां जगद्व्यापिनीं वीणापुस्तकधारिणीम् अभयदां जाड्यान्धकारापहां हस्ते स्फाटिकमालिकां विदधतीं पद्मासने संस्थितां वन्दे तां परमेश्वरीं भगवतीं बुद्धिप्रदां शारदां। हरि ओम, नमो नमः. Salutations to all. Now let us continue from where we have stopped in the last session. We have seen that Duryodhana, Shakuni and Dushasana, they enter. A mere discussion is going on between them that whether to go to bow down to Dhritarashtra or not. Actually, it was a will of Duryodhana that he has to go to his father. But Shakuni denies. Then after some mutual conversation, Shakuni and Dushasana, they agree and they all go to salute to Dhritarashtra. And even after having done the salutation, Dhritarashtra, he does not bless them. So, Duryodhana asks to Dhritarashtra, what Duryodhana says? Tata, King Krutoyam Sambramaha. O father, Tata, O father, King Kruto. King Kruto nama Kena Krutaha. Kena Karanena. Confusion, Sambramaha. So by what reason this confusion is there? But actually in this Sambramaha, its synonym is given Vikshobhaha. In Apte dictionary, there are many different shades, many synonyms for this word is given. Those are like conflict, struggle, hesitation of mind and distraction. Duryodhana knows everything but still is asking, King Kruto ayam sambramaha. So, kena karanena bhavataha ayam vikshobhaha jataha. Means what is the reason by which you are so much disturbed? He wants to know from his father's mouth, so he is asking him again and again. What Dhritarashtra says? King Krutoyam Sambramaha. Iti. It indicates, oh, you are asking me. King Krutoyam Sambramaha. By which reason this confusion is? Oh my God, you are asking me. Then Dhritarashtra continues telling him the reason. It's given in Indravajra Vrittam. Eka kulesmin bahuputra nathe labdha suta putra shatadvishishta sa bandhavanam bhavata prasadat vaidhavyam ashlagyam avapsatiti. It's a sarcastic humor. What he says? Bahuputra nathe asmin kule. In this dynasty, which is adorned with, blessed with so many sons, Bahuputra sampanne asmin kule, putra shatat vishishta eka suta labdha. Eka suta labdha, we got one daughter. How? Putra shatad vishishtaha. There are hundreds of sons, but among them we got only one very dear daughter than all those sons, and she was greatly pampered. Here the word suta is used. Etymology is suyate sma ya. Suta, stapatyam, kanya. Literal meaning is the one who is born to her biological fathers, biological parents. And that's why Dhritarashtra wants to tell them that she is dearer to me than you all. Putra shatat vishishta. So despite having 100 children, Who is she? She was greatly pampered, and the meaning what he says, like it's in sarcastic tone he says. What he adds? Sa. Sa means who? Sa Dushala, my dear daughter. Bhavatam bandhavanam. So, brothers like you. See, the way Mahakavi Bhasa, he is adding one word for those sarcastic remarks. What he says? Bhavatam bandhavanam. Brothers like you. Prasadat. Actual meaning is what? Anugrahat. By your blessings. So, it's a simple abhida, what we can say, by your blessings. But is it so? No. So, Vyangartha is there. Vyangartha, it is what? Implied meaning is what? Dushkrutebhyah. By your bad deeds. What happened? Ashlaghyam vaidhavyam avapsyati sa. Ashlaghyam. Shlagya means what? Which is to be praised. And ashlaghyam means what? Which should not be praised. That is, which should be condemned, mocked, reproached. This way, vaidhavyam vidhava bhavam, inglorious widowhood, prapsyati iti, she will get. So, in plain way also he wants to tell, and even he wants to curse them also. So, my sons, in this house, means in Kurukula dynasty, blessed with many sons, there is only one daughter dearer to me than all these 100 sons. Thank you to all. I am thanking you all. She will gain inglorious widowhood soon. Now here, he doesn't mention Yuyutsu, because like Duryodhan, Dushasan and all those 98 brothers, one Dushala. So like this, his 100 sons, and then Yuyutsu, which was born to a maid. So that his mention is not over here. And what he says, what he adds, like, how you are going to do that? By killing Abhimanyu, you already done it, like. So by killing Abhimanyu and bringing the wrath of Arjuna and Sri Krishna on your heads. So she is going to get this inglorious widowhood soon. So that is like he wants to convey to them. Now Duryodhana becomes cautious about it, like now how to answer. So what he says, Tata, kim chatra jayadrathasya? Oh father, Tata, kim cha atra jayadrathasya? Means what? What he wants to say, in this matter, Jayadrathena kim krutam? What has Jayadratha done in this? So like simply, plainly he says, kim chatra Jayadrathasya? What he has done? Dhritarashtra he answers, Tena kila vara vidagdhena ruddhaha pandavaha. What he says, kila. Kila means what? It is heard, shruyate. Whenever you want to convey any message or like a story which is heard, and if you are not sure or if you don't want to say directly what must have had happened actually directly over there, kila word is used. Kila, shruyate, it is heard, tena vara vidagdhena. This vara vidagdha, this word has many shades. Tena, by. Vara vidagdhena, vidagdhaha cha asau, vara vidagdhaha tena. By whom? Jayadrathena. How is it? Vidagdha means chatur, sharp. Very sharp, but again there are many meanings are there. The one who is very clever, sharp, shrewd, like that way. And who is Vara Vidagdhena, by a clever husband of my daughter, that is Jayadratha. Pandavaha Ruddhaha, all Pandavas, they were prohibited by whom? By Jayadratha entering in the Chakravyuha. So, Kila, it was heard by me. Here this Vara Vidagdhena, this word is there. It is Mayura Vyamsakadi Samasa. It's in a Panini Sutra, sort of Tatpurusha Samasa, but it is Anya Tatpurusha Samasa. Actually, its dissolution is different. Means it doesn't have certain type of rule. Now, what are the examples for this? Like particular, the word is there, Mayura Vyamsakaha. If we dissolve it, it will be Vyamsakaha Mayuraha. What is the meaning of Vyamsaka? It's a cheat, rogue. So, a roguish peacock, that is the meaning. Then another one is that, like for this Anya Tatpurus Samasa, Anyaha Deshaha, Deshantaram, Anyaha Kalaha, Kalantaram. If it is Uchchavacham, then it will be Adakcha, Avakcha. That will be the dissolution. Rajahamsaha, dissolution something different, like Hamsanam Raja. Now suppose Akinchana, Nasti Kinchana Yasya Saha, Nirdhanaha. For this synonym is there, Akinchana, it comes under this Anya Tatpurush or Mayura Vyamsakadi Samasaha. Akuto Bhayaha, Nasti Kutopi Bhayam, Yasya Saha, Nirbhayaha. For this we use this word Akuto Bhayaha. Again it is in Mayura Vyamsakadi Samasa. Kandishikaha, Kam Disham Gachami Iti Yaha Ahasaha Kandishikaha. Like the one who is running out of fear here and there is Kandishikaha. It comes under Mayura Vyamsakadi Samasaha. One more is there, Ahamahamika. We use oftenly this word, this compound. So, Aham Sreshtaha, Iti Bhavana, Yasya Saha. So, Ahamahamika. So, what he says, Dhritarashtra continues with that, Mama Kanyayaha Chaturena Patya. The word has many shades, like we have seen clever, sharp, shrewd, cunning. So, he is using one. Instead of clever, he wants to use basically cunning. So, Dhritarashtra is pointing towards like his cunning or his very shrewd. So, what has done by me? It is heard that he has done something. Pandavaha Ruddhaha. Now, Duryodhan become very cautious. Aha, Tena Ruddhaha, Bahubhihi Khalu Anyaihi. Then what he says? Tena Ruddhaha. Did he stop? Bahubhihi Khalu Anyaihi. By many other kings, he stopped. He is telling by many other kings. So, he is not taking that blame directly on Jayadratha. Anyhow, Dhritarashtra, he knew about it. But still, like in conversation, Dhritarashtra wants to tell him something different way. So, Bahubhihi Khalu Anyaihi. Anyaihi nama ye Rajanaha Tatra Santi Taihi Sarvaihi. So, those kings were there by them all. Bahubhihi. Dhritarashtra says, oh, kashtam. Oh, it's painful, he says. It hurts. And having heard this, Abhimanyu was stopped by many kings. Like, he was literally, he was in agony. That is painful, this exclamation. It reveals that way. And then Dhritarashtra is very sad. And then he says in Anuštupachanda, Bahunam Samavetanam Ekasmin Nirgrunatmanam Bale Putre Praharatam Katham na Patitaha Bhujaha. Says anger, how he says Bahunam Samavetanam, in many numbers. Like, those who are present there in many numbers, all those kings, and Nirgrunanam, Nirgruna, Nirdayaha, Nirgata, Gruna, Yasmat Saha Nirgruna, or like its synonym Nirdayaha, Nirgata Daya Yasmat Saha, Saha Nirdayaha, Idrushaha Nirdayaha, Rajanaha Bhupalaha, Ye Nirgrunaha, Nirdaya Chittaha, Tari Nirgrunanam, Nirdaya Chittanam, merciless kings. Ekasmin Bale Putre, Ekasmin. He was all alone there without any help, like asahaya, helpless, and without any help, ekasmin bale putre. So, that helpless small child. Why is referring again and again? Suppose if we see in this recent context, he is only 16 years old. So child who is learning in 10th standard, you can say 10th or in 11th standard. So for his like grandfather, it's just like a child, son. So ekasmina asahaye bale. That is again and again repeatedly he says, katham na patitaha bhujaha. See his anger. What he says, so when so many kings rushed and fell on that child, why were not their arms paralyzed? So his anger, like the way he is so much expressive, we can feel the pain of Dhritarashtra. He says, why? Katham na patitaha bhujaha. From verse number 17 till 24, the argument between Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana is there, and all those things are worth reading and worth thinking. Like dialogue plan and its interpretation, which was done by Mahakavi Bhasa, is really important over there. And that can, like one can, it can be seen that political approach of Mahakavi Bhasa there. What he has opened in front of all the spectators, the bright heart of Dhritarashtra. This Dhritarashtra is not from Mahabharata, written by sage Vyasa. It is like imaginary, okay, that plot has created by Mahakavi Bhasa for Dhritarashtra. So it is really worth reading, and like Mahakavi Bhasa has succeeded showing that bright heart of Dhritarashtra as well as glimpse of the tented hearts of Shakuni, Duryodhana and Dushasana. Because even though having tried many a times, like he wants to show not actually black or not actually white, some grey shades, but where he can give, how that color he can paint like this way. So whichever the actual characters of Duryodhana, Dushasana and Shakuni, they are real over here. So those glimpses we can see. Then Duryodhana replies for why their arms were not paralyzed. What he says? Bahunam samavetanam ekasmin nirgrunatmanam bale putre praharatam katham na patita bhujaha. See Duryodhana's answer. Vruddham bhishmam chalair hatva tesham na patita bhujaha hatva smakam patishanti tamabala parakramam. What he says? Vruddham bhishmam chalair hatva tesham na patita bhujaha. Duryodhana has sudden automatic answer for that. He doesn't think at all. So it's a reckless thinking, and he just wants to answer like whatever was asked. So my answer is ready. So that way he says, Tesham na patitaha bhujaha hatva smakam patishanti tam abala parakramam. No, Duryodhana refutes all the words like whichever are uttered by Dhritarashtra. Vruddham bhishmam chalaihi hatva. Chala. He is using that word. Vruddham bhishmam chalaihi hatva tesham bhujaha na patitaha tarhi abala parakramam tam abhimanyum hatva asmakam bhujaha patishanti kim. What is it? If those Pandavas, they did not lose their hands, arms by treacherously killing our Bhishma Pitamaha, old Bhishma Pitamaha, then why should our arms fall after killing that child who was as brave as a grown-up man? Unknowingly, how Duryodhana praises Abhimanyu. Let us see. First what he says, Chalaihi hatva. Chala, whatever Chala, Kapata was done by Pandavas, that is according to Duryodhana. What Chala they did? Okay, what conspiracy they did? It is like bringing Shikhandi forward. We all know this story in Mahabharata. So bringing Shikhandi forward, that is a Chala, that is a conspiracy according to Duryodhana. Now, Duryodhana is in trauma, like, having seen the valor of Abhimanyu. So what he says, now that prowess of shown by that child, that Abhimanyu, was not like that of a small child, So that's why he is repeating. And he says it was his prowess of an adult. So unknowingly he reveals the truth. He is showing, he is telling the bravery, he is literally describing the bravery of child Abhimanyu. Dhritarashtra says, now the words all used by Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra has to answer to clarify. So he says, it's not actually clarifying, it is ongoing conversation. So Dhritarashtra says, Vatsa, kim bhishmasya nipatanam, abhimanyoho cha vadaha samaha. Is using each and every word, it has a meaning. So nicely he is uttering those words. Vatsa. So Vatsa, whenever he is using the word Vatsa to his own son Duryodhana, it shows some sympathy towards him. Oh my dear child, kim bhishmasya nipatanam abhimanyoho cha vadaha samaha, is the fall of Bhishma the same as the killing or same as the slaughtering of Abhimanyu? He is asking with pain. Now nipatanam, it's a causative construction, causal form, prayojaka. It is letting fall. Now causing to descend, that is the actual meaning. Is the falling down of Bhishma and the killing of Abhimanyu equal? He is asking them again and again. Duryodhana says, Tata katham na samaha. Oh father, how is it not equal? He is asking, how is it not equal? For him everything is equal. And it can be seen the reckless behavior. So obviously automatically the back answer comes. Dhritarashtra says, Putra, Shruyatam, O son, listen. Again in Upajati Vrittam, Swachanda mrutyur nihato hi bhishmaha sveno padeshena krutatma tushtihi ayantu balak kurvanshanatha chinnorjunasya pratama pravalaha. Oh my God. How he says, see the pain. For Bhishma, he is killed. Yes, I agree. But it is his own free will. It is the wish of Bhishma Pitamaha. He was satisfied with his own percepts. And so there should not be any grief. No, he is explaining to Duryodhana that you are just telling me that Nipatanam, yes, it's true, but it is the own will. He was Ichchamarani, so it was his own will, and that's why Bhishma Pitamaha, he waited till Uttarayan began. So with this, all these examples, he is answering to Duryodhana. Dhritarashtra is answering to Duryodhana. He says, Swachanda mrutyur nihataha hi bhishmaha. So at per his own will, at per his own wish, like his killing is okay. But ayam tu balaha, this one is a child. And what? Kuru Vanshanathaha. Who is he? He is a lord of Kuru dynasty. So, ayam tu Kuru Vanshanathaha. And who was he? See the last line, what he says? Arjunasya prathamaha pravalaha chinnaha. So, chinnaha was cut off. Who? The first seedling of Arjuna was cut off by you all. So, he is explaining them that you have destroyed the first sprout of Arjuna. So, there is like no comparison between the fall of Bhishma and the slaughter of this young Abhimanyu. Again and again, continuously. He wants to prove that with this example. So, it was Bhishma's choice and he chose his death on his own. And he was content to die. That Dhritarashtra wants to convey to his son. Dushasana, he is there only, is listening to the conversation. Now, we have seen the traumatic situation of Duryodhana. Why Dushasana will remain behind, like he also comes and he wants to say something. Unknowingly he is pressing. But they both don't know like what they all are doing actually. So what Dushasana says? Tata, balo, na balayiti, abhimanyuna, dot. What he says? Tata, father, balo. Actually, this child, na balaha iti, is not a child. This child is not a child, and then he continues. Abhimanyuna, Abhimanyu has done something. He wanted to convey, but still, that terror of Abhimanyu's valor is still there in their mind, and they have witnessed everything. So they are trying to show something must have had happened, and he said, Tata, ayam balaha. Yeah, we know he's a child. Na balo iti. He is not a child. So, Abhimanyu is a child, he is a minor. But the valor shown by him, by his deeds, never ever his prowess, his abalatvam is revealed, that he seems to be an adult. He is not a child. Don't say this way. Dhritarashtra says, Kim, Dushasana Vyaharati. So having heard this conversation now, Dhritarashtra he is very much eager to know, is very much curious to know, and he says, Kim, Dushasana Kim Vyaharati. So what does this Dushasana says? What he wants to convey? Dushasana says, Atho Kim? Then what? So just like a small child is complaining to his father. So, and about us, another child. But he says, Atho Kim? I want to tell you. Now again, here it is in a Shaline Vrittam. Now that terror, you can just find it out how what Dushasana is so much terrified about the valor. Because his father, Dhritarashtra, he has explained a lot about you have cut off the sprout, the seedling of Arjuna's dynasty, and which you haven't did whatever you have done. So this is which you have done, this is not a good thing. So they must be somewhere in their mind, something must have had happened. And how come now we can tell it to this one our father? So again and again, just like a small child, they are complaining to their father about the valor shown by Dhritarashtra. What this is? Sarvesham na pashyatam yuddhatancha vyayamoshnam griham chapakarena सूर्येणेवाभ्यागतैः रंशुजालैः सर्वैः बाणैः अंकिताः भूमिपालाः. Sarvesham. We'll just see one word. Sarvesham nah. Nah means what? Asmakam sarvesham. As we all, asmakam sarvesham pashyataham. As we all were observing. All means what? All Kauravas, other kings, and as we all were observing the valor of Abhimanyu, Yuddhatancha, as he was fighting over there, he was showing his bravery over there on the battlefield. Vyayamoshnam gruhya chapakarena. So Vyayamoshnam, Vyayamena Ushnam, Parishramena Ushnatangatam. As he was fighting, and due to that hard work, Dhanu, that bow which he was holding in his hand, it became very hot. Hot like what? A thunderbolt of Indra, Vajra of Indra. So, Sarvesham na pashyatam yuddhatancha Vyayamoshnam griham chapakarena. So, what he did, Suryena सूर्येण वाभ्यागतैः रंशुजालैः सर्वे बाणैः अंकिताः भूमिपालाः. Now see, it is just like who is comparing something. It's a good example of upama alankara. He is giving the simile. What he says, Suryena va. Suryena means bhanuna va, by sun, by the sun. Abhyagataihi anshujalaihi. Abhyagata means samagataihi, gathered. Anshu means what? Rays of the sun. Now anshu jala means what? It's just like a net of the rays of the sun. So when the rays of the sun, it's a net of rays of the sun, whenever it is like gathered together, can you imagine like how ushna, how hot it will be, just like a thunderbolt of whom? Of Vajra, of Indra. So he is trying to explain the bravery of Abhimanyu, and what he says, Chapam karena gruhyam. His chapa, his bow, his dhanu, karena, with his hand, gruhyam, gruhitva means having held that bow with his hand. What he did? Suryena eva, just like a sun. So now Suryena eva, he is giving the simile of Surya to Abhimanyu. So he is comparing Abhimanyu with Surya. And what he says? Banaihi sarve bhumipalaha ankitaha. Bhupalaha, bhumipalaha. So like bhupala, bhuvim palayanti iti. So those who are protecting the earth. Idrushaha sarve rajanaha. So all those kings who are there to help Kauravas, they were ankitaha. Ankita means what? All his arrows, they were pierced in the bodies of all the kings, and that's why they all are wounded. So what he wants to convey, you know, Father, he held a bow as hot as Indra's thunderbolt and wounded all the kings with his arrows, like the sun is discharging a network of rays, like, you know. So a best example of Rupaka Alankara, Upama Alankara, that is explaining, and unknowingly the way Duryodhana, he described the valor of Abhimanyu, in the same way Dushasana, having kept the terror of the Abhimanyu in his mind, he is explaining the valor of Abhimanyu to his father. Then Dhritarashtra listens to it and he says, Kashtam bhoho, oh my God, it's very painful. Because like, why he says very painful? He is visualizing all those things like asahaya, ekaki saha balaha. So that Abhimanyu, he is without help, because all Pandavas were along, Arjuna, basically Arjuna along with Janardana, Dhananjaya along with Janardana was taken away, far away from the battlefield. By whom? By Samshaptakas. We have seen that. And we have seen that another verse also, due to the terror of Arjuna, that he will come again and he will fight with us. So with that terror, like the kings, they were returning to their camps, like Yayadisha, like on which direction Arjuna has gone. So having seen or seeing towards that direction, all those kings, they were returning to their tents. So that fear is there in the mind. So all this narration, description, which was learnt by Dhritarashtra, which was heard by him, and like he is visualizing that terror, like how it must have had happened over there on the battlefield. So he says with the pain, that agony, he says, Bhoho kashtam, it's very painful. And then he says, it is in Anushtup Chanda, बालेनैकेन तावद्भोः सौभद्रेण दृशं कृतं पुत्रव्यसनसन्तप्तः पार्थो वः किं करिष्यति. What he says? Bhoho Duryodhana. Now it's totally, just see the conversation and see the advice by Dhritarashtra to his sons. What he says? Bhoho Duryodhana, O Duryodhana, Tavat Pratamam, you listen to me. Ekena Saubhadrena idrusham karyam krutam. Ekena Saubhadrena. Now here like see the pain, like what he says, Saubhadraha, Subhadrayaha Putraha Puman is the only son of Subhadra. Now again he wants to convey that like Parth must be loving him like anything, only one son, and his Subhadra and Parth, their biological son, Idrusham. Idrusham means what? Which is uttered by Dushasana. I don't know. Just now Dushasana told me and I know that. So, Ekenaiva Saubhadrena Idrusham Karyam Krutam. Such a type of valor is shown by Abhimanyu. What he has done? Virakarma. Tarhi. Then Putra Vyasana Santaptaha Arjunaha. What he says? Putra Vyasanena Santaptaha Arjunaha. Na Arjunaha. He is using the word Partha. Partha means what? Pruthayaha. Putraha Puman. So who is son of Prutha? That is Partha. He is giving all the epithets of Arjuna or like Abhimanyu. For him also, he doesn't use the word Abhimanyu. He is using the word like Saubhadra, Partha, that way. So how they are favorite to their mothers, maybe that point to show. So he says, Putra Vyasanena Santaptaha. Like due to the destruction. Vyasana actually it is a calamity. Sankatam. Vyasanam Sankatam, calamity. But now Saubhadra, Abhimanyu is Vinashtaha. So there is a destruction of Abhimanyu. So Putre Vyasanena Santaptaha Eshaha Arjunaha King Karishyati. So what he will do? So angry, that furious Partha Arjuna, due to destruction of his son, King Karishyati, he is asking. Now how he is giving advice to his sons? If Arjuna's son worked such a havoc, he has created such a havoc over there, think what will Arjuna do in his wrath at his son's death? It's just a warning. It is said that like for Dhritarashtra, though even he is blind, but he has two eyes, and which are those? Good conduct, sadachara, and modesty, politeness. He is so vinamra. Actually, it is written by Mahakavi Bhasa. So, he, even though he is blind, but two eyes are there, and that is good conduct, sadachara, and modesty, vinayashilata. So, he can see the future. He is such a visionary. So, he sees the future of what? Destructions of his all sons, destruction of Kuru dynasty. And because of that, like, he is warning his child that what? Putra Vyasana Santaptaha Saha Parthaha Kim Karishyati. So, whatever you all have done, actually it's a wrong deed. So, come to your consciousness. That is the warning he wants to tell. So, whichever the, what you can say, epithet, all the adjectives are used for Abhimanyu over here, it's just not like that those are coming in a poetry, but just to show what will be the impact of that, and that is the great interpretation. And that's why he says, Ekena balena idrusham karyam krutam. A small child has created such a havoc, then if his father is mightier than this child, obviously it has to be. Just think of that, like one child, so many kings were there. So he was pervaded by, surrounded by so many kings. Now just imagine that. So it's a warning given by Dhritarashtra to Duryodhana. Obviously, why Duryodhana? He is the king, and always he says, Aham Suyodhanaha. So I am Suyodhana. And who is that? I am a lord. Swami idam shibirasya. I am lord of this what? This house, this camp. So I am a lord. And that's why if you at least better you listen to me. Now Duryodhana says, Kim karishati? Even after having added all those things by his father, he says, Kim karishati? Now see, Gadya Kavi Nam Nikasham Vadanti, we know that. So even though Kavya is written over there, it is written, but whenever a poet writes Gadya, it needs like, a wet. And he says, Kim karishati? What will he do, father? So it was just a mere negligence. And he says, Kim karishati? Dhritarashtra says, Tat karishati yat savasheshayusho drakshatha. See how he says, Tat karishati. What he will do? Yat savasheshayusho drakshatah. Those of you will survive, will see what he will do. Just see the warning. Abhimanyu has done whatever he wants to do. Now Abhimanyu has gone already. He passed away. But like you all are so happy that you have defeated this one Abhimanyu, and you feel like that you are the sovereign rulers now. But wait, don't celebrate your victory right now. Wait. What Arjuna will do, I know that if those of you who will survive, and you can just experience, sense the pain of that father. It needs a courage to say that his own sons will not be survived by Arjuna. It is really a courage. It needs a courage, and that courage is shown by whom? By Dhritarashtra of Mahakavi Bhasa. Dhritarashtra, which is penned by Mahakavi Bhasa, he's showing that daring, that courage to his sons. So those of you will survive, will see what he will do. Now Duryodhana, would he listen to his father? No, he replies, Tata, kas tavad Arjuno nama? Father, who is that Arjuna? So you can just sense that arrogance of Duryodhana. He says, oh father, who is that Arjuna? Putra, Arjunam api na janishe. Everyone knows that, everyone knows everything, but still it's a question answer like session is going on, and they are arguing with each other. Not actually Dhritarashtra is arguing, he is refuting what Duryodhana says, but a reckless behavior, behavior of what Duryodhana, it makes him to utter this type of sentences. And he says, Tata, kastavat Arjuno nama. Father, who is that Arjuna? He says, Putra, Arjunam api na janishe. Oh, dear child, don't you know Arjuna also? Oh. Such a pain. Duryodhana says with some, that he doesn't bother about, he least bother about that. He says, Tata, na jane. Oh father, I don't know him. Who is he? Dhritarashtra says, Te nahi aham api na jane. If you don't know, then even I don't know then. You don't know who is Arjuna, then even I don't know who is Arjuna. Kintu, listen, Arjunasya balaviryajñaha bahavaha santi tan pruchha. There are many people, they who know the valor, strength of Arjuna. Go and ask them. Oh, Duryodhana says, you are asking me. Tata. Ke Arjunasya balaviryajñaha maya prashtavyaha. The arrogance of Duryodhana, now it's increasing by each and every sentence. What he says, Tata, ke Arjunasya balaviryajñaha maya prashtavyaha. The same situation what we have seen in the introduction session. And there Shri Krishna, he goes in the form of a messenger to convey the message of Pandavas to all the Kurus, basically to Duryodhana. And that time, even that time also, that is, it is in Duta Vakyam we have seen. And Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, he says, who is that Arjuna? I don't know. I don't know him at all. And then Shri Krishna, he explains the bravery in nice verse, as well as like, just go and ask to Shakra, to Indra, okay? You go and ask to Kirata, that is Shiva, you just go and ask him. So like, and then likewise like he explains that you have witnessed his bravery at the time of Chitrangada. That verse we have seen already. The same dramatical situation over here. Some different words are there, and with Vrutta is also same. But as before he asks, Duryodhana is asking him, Ke janaha Arjunasya balaviryajñaha. Who are those people? They know this might and bravery of Arjuna. Maya prashtavyaha. Whom should I ask? And actually it's a, what you can say, the technicality of dramaturgy, as well as for Bhasa's play. Everywhere, like, if the plot is from some same epic, then those are like inevitable part of each other. And the verse which is uttered by Dhritarashtra, like praising Arjuna, and which is similar whichever it is shown in Duta Vakyam, the same verse we will see, but not now. We will see in the next session, that is like you can say the beautiful verse recited by Dhritarashtra to tell the bravery of Arjuna. So we will see in the next session. So we will conclude over here. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.